I'm Mark Kramer, and I'm the CEO at ConformIQ. And today I want to talk a little bit about software testing and how artificial intelligence is used and can be used effectively in the software development and testing process. So it'd probably be best to start with what has swept the market and swept the interest of so many of our customers and the industry in general is artificial intelligence. And interestingly, there may be, or you may or may not be aware that there's different types of AI that can be used in the software development and testing process. And the one that has swept the market and has gathered the interest of pretty much everybody is GenAI. And the thoughts and ideas about how GenAI can address the software development and testing solution, I think is a little bit overhyped. But on the other hand, it can provide a lot of value, and GenAI, in this process, can do code development, it can do test case generation, it can do test script generation, it can do it can deliver value in all the parts of the software development process. But what's required with GenAI, and that I think is understated and underestimated in terms of using it, you have to review it. Whatever creation GenAI does for you, you can't trust the fact that it's going to be correct because of the way the technology works. Now, there are other types of AI that can be applied and used in the software development process, and it's a technology that many people may not know because it's natural language processing, vision systems, and a technology called Symbolic AI. And this is a technology that actually ConformIQ has applied for years in this space to generate test cases. And so let's talk a little bit about the comparison between the two, and why you might want to use one versus the other. So and where in the development process you probably want to use one versus the other. So if you want to use GenAI, for the test case generation, you can do that. But the result is you have to review it, ensure it's correct, and achieves the objectives that you might have, or the business rules that you are implementing in terms of coverage, the risk-based assessment, happy paths, negative path type testing, boundary value. You have to ensure that you're achieving the objectives that you have, and as part of that, you might even want things like optimization and those kind of things. Well, the challenge with GenAI is you have to do each one of those components separately, review it, make sure that you're getting the test case generation that you want, and now you have to go through that process. Okay, how do I use those test cases to generate scripts so that it works in my execution environment? So you have to ensure that process is correct as well. So, but interestingly, before you even get started with any of these things, you have to have consensus and some collaboration between the developers, the business analysts, and the testers, and to ensure that what you're building and what you're testing is product-wise correct. And actually, GenAI can help a lot in that, because that process is iterative and collaborative. So if it generates something, the group together can work together to ensure that what we're going to build and what we're going to test is what we're trying to achieve, for our product development. So there, um, the collaboration, the review, and all that kind of stuff is part of the process, and it's needed. So use Gen AI, to help, the collaboration between those three groups. And then if you could use the output of that in a way that is actually tuned and uh, specifically um, uh, focused on test case generation and test script generation using symbolic AI, you can eliminate the need, at least in the testing process, for all those reviews, because you have a clear definition of what you're going to build and what symbolic AI does, rather than you know changing the output every time a requirement changes or a name changes. It actually um, looks at all the possible test cases that can be created. It's kind of more of a brute force type of AI. Looks at everything that you could possibly do, and then based on business rules and priorities for the results you want, whether it's optimization, coverage, and so on. It looks at all the possible combinations, and then goes through and optimizes and delivers the result based on those business rules. So the interesting thing about that, with respect to uh, the creation of test cases, uh, test scripts, uh, is that you don't have to review it if you have the correct description up front. You don't have to review it in each step of the process, because the application of symbolic AI is deterministic. It gives you the results that you've defined by rule by exploring all possible combinations and going through um, those combinations to give you uh, the results that are defined as part of your process. And this is something that's makes getting to automated test execution much more efficient than if you use Gen AI for the requirements creation, you use Gen AI for test creation, you use Gen AI for script creation, because if you use that, you have to review it each time in the process, and uh, you know, where symbolic AI basically does that creation by it's correct by construction. So the value of having the two together makes the software development and testing process significantly more efficient if you were to use Gen AI throughout the entire process, because you need those control points. So you know, the takeaway, and I think the idea I'd like I'm trying to share with you, is the fact that if you combine the two, you can get the value of Gen AI and the value of symbolic AI and have a much more efficient software development and testing process. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.